My name is Martin Lefebvre. Welcome to my VIP class. After having danced all my competition and retired from competition, I've been falling into teaching and teaching a lot. And the beginning, what you want to teach is mechanic and hip action and hip action and repeat and repeat and repeat. The dancing is like everybody stops because they're forced to stop most of the time. They'll split up, they'll move away, or their body will like give up. Me was my hips. Like at some point it was stiff. I had sharp pain into my hips. I got arthritis in both hips, and later on I couldn't even put my socks or cross my legs together. So I had it done. I had a double hip replacement. They changed my hips, both of them at the same time. It was the challenging part of my life. Like you learn to move and you learn to dance, and at some point you don't know if you'll be able ever to do it again. So you want to focus on that energy to come back. However, they do cut your legs, right? They take it out. And I remember the doctor right after, the day after, they say, okay, you're going to get up and you're going to walk. I'm like, okay. So I turn around and it's one leg at a time because they're detached. And I stand up, I go up and I close my eyes, and he says, don't close your eyes, you're going to be falling. I'm like, no, no, let me connect my brain to my hips, to my feet, to my hips, to my brain. And I stood up and started walking slowly, but mechanically it made sense in my body, and there was no pain. The pain was gone because you get there because that you're so much in pain that the pain is different. The pain is relieved. The meds were helping a lot. However, the it was such a different pain that it was joy into it. And then healing started. And because you're a dancer, you're more body aware to it. I guess being young was helping as well. It took 2 weeks for the recovery. 2 weeks later, I was driving my car and getting in the pool. And up to today, like I can like play a little bit of hockey. I can play tennis. I can ride my bicycle with my daughter. I can have the joy. I just don't want to be running too much because of the action on the heels and that power into the hips. But the rest of it, it's like never been in the better shape with my hips in my life. That was very good. As a dance teacher, one of the things that's my favorite is like the kind of people you meet. So to be a good teacher, you have to adjust yourself to your students that's coming. And for me, I'm lucky that way because I got like a big different size of like levels of students and personality of students. But one of my favorite one is definitely going into schools and teaching from kindergarten till grade six very easily. We go in, we have like 10 lessons per classes, and we build a mini show. And from day one, when they come in with their sweater over their hands, like this, coming in and walking, and not wanted to dance. And over the next 10 lessons, you see them a little bit more comfortable. You see them how they're going to be around each other. It takes like at least 3 or 4 lessons just to have them learn the basics on their own and get closer to a girl or a boy, and without having the giggling like and like not wanting to dance. People are really shy of that interaction. So later on, after the first couple classes, now they're dancing with the next partner. It has to be like, okay, get into position and dance. Later on, we learn about how to ask a lady to dance. So getting the hand and the girls to accept. That is something that social media is not teaching anymore. That's one the thing that the social media is taking away from how a boy and a girl should be interacting together. How with other people, what it's good for when you work. So now we build a show. We have like the girl like walking in with the boy like into like a prince and a princess like on the into the ballroom. We make like scenarios. It could be the knight and the princess of the castle. It could be like the bodyguard and the Hollywood star that comes in. And all of that is the transformation from a kid that is 6 years old, and the pictures that you put in their head and the transformation. So here we are, 10 lessons later. The ballroom, the gymnasium is full. We have like the parents, everybody is there, and there we are. We have like 15 couples coming in with the lady arm, placing, asking the lady to dance, dancing with three different partners, high 10, bowing, walking the girl back. The boys with like their tie, and the girls with like their pretty like dresses. But the transformation that you see, some of them are doing the merengue, some of them are going to do the tango, the waltz, the cha-cha, the jive. And every time you have a different story, because it allows us to explain how the dance came up, who invented it, what type of music it is. It links people that plays music into that. It gets people more comfortable and connected, and they're exposed. I think we need more um, dance preacher that expose the dancing to every soul that's ready to like listen to it. The world have stopped for many dancers, and I think we have to like recreate a lot of the world that we used to be in, and we're trying to achieve new things and reinvent a lot of like the way we used to teach dancing, the way we used to reach people. So we've done that as well. We created a big Zoom class. We transfer a lot of our Zoom over there. We're lucky because the people we teach are the people that are passionate about dancing. So a lot of the figure skaters that we used to have, we still work with them at the rink. A lot of the single classes, the single ladies of my wife has the burlesque size company. That was really a big business saver for us, because we used to be big shows with 400 people in the room and 100 dancers performing, and that can't happen at the moment. But dancers still want to dance, so we're specialized into the, I would call them dance addict, the one that really like can't stop. So we're part of the dance prohibition. Start by the back door a little bit, get the dancers in, and yeah, we never stop dancing. We never stop creating. I was a bit forced into dance at the beginning. I was young though. I was 9 years old, and my mom just woke me up one day. They had friends that had somebody, a son that was dancing, and she says, "Come on, we're gonna go see that person dance." I arrive over there, and a big teacher shows up and says, "Are you Martin?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Your partner is over there." So I was forced right into it, and I remember the first dance. It was merengue, and I felt weird. I felt weird. I had missed the first class because that's how they knew that was a girl, an extra girl, and they called me in for it. It was merengue. I remember dancing with a girl back to back. Just wanted to do judo with her, like instead of dancing. But my mom says after that, like, we're not gonna be like. I said, I don't want to dance. I'm not a dancer. I'm a hockey guy. And one thing lead to another. A couple of weeks later, I was ready to go to my own dance classes, and I met some friends that were over there, and the interest was there. You put a seed in, and then it grows, and that's how I fell into it. My brother was more sometimes like a troublemaker, so she wanted me to make sure that I was more kind of into the arts, and I was expressing things like wanted to like draw, dance, or things like that. But yeah, that was my introduction to the dance business. Then a couple of years later, I met an amazing guy named Jean-Marc Genereux that really reshaped, believed in me and reshaped my dancing, and I wanted to dance more. And then I started traveling and meeting great guys and friends, and it was a lot of fun. There's not a lot to dance to hate. Like, yes, there's people that you don't feel comfortable. The hardest dance to learn from all the dances you'll learn in your life is the first dance. Once you get from off the floor to on the floor, getting your shoes on, getting ready to like to be vulnerable, because that's really what people don't like at the beginning. um, you're more comfortable. You meet. For me, I met like somebody. My class was at 11 o'clock. My friend's class was at noon, and then from 1 to 3 o'clock, it was my parents' class TA by my friend's class, Eric, like that I met. I was 9 years old, so I was there for 4 hours, and we just like met there, like play and like hang around while the classes were happening. It was solid every 2 hours every week, and then it was practice time, and then the group of friends got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then like it's yes, that's I think the friendship was what kept me into dancing. When I was younger, I was embarrassed to be a dancer. I think there was a lot of stigma about like, oh, I was making people were making fun of me, like, oh, like you're gay, or like it makes you like, oh, you move like this or you do this, and I'm a hockey player, and like this is like, I'm a lot more manly than you, and when you're young, 9, 10, 11, 12, it sticks to you, and what's how it makes you feel. Um, so I was just hiding it, playing the big goon at school. At the time, I was still playing hockey. Then I quit hockey, and I just went more into um, serious into dancing. Every time you have a partner, then you split. You find somebody else. You always try to find better, and as you find better, you work harder. You have more time involved into it, and in high school, people started to know some of my close friends. Somebody saw me on TV, says, "Ah, you're a dancer." Oh no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was somebody else that you saw. And later on, around like grade 12, grade 11, I believe, I went to the World Championship under 18, and that's where it started to be more known at school. But it went from, hey, you do ballroom dancing. Oh, you're going to the World Championship. It's the stigma like really left quickly, and it made me feel not better or important, but my mission was to become a dancer, and I wanted to push myself. And the World Championship is the best place to learn over there. So um, that was that. And the year after, I remember that I was asked to do a show at my prom, and the principal asked me, Martin, we would like you to watch you dance, but we would like you to do a waltz. And I'm like, a waltz? I cannot do waltz. I'm not a waltz specialist. I'm a Latin American dancer. I can do a cha-cha, but I have a great jive show, a rock and roll show that I can do. He says, no, 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 no. We want a waltz to open the dance. I said, I cannot do waltz. Like you want to see my jive. You don't want to see my waltz. He's like, you can only dance if you waltz. I said, okay, no problem. So I did a jive. It went very good. It was like awesome. However, it was really well received. Like people liked it. People started dancing. It was asking a lot of questions. How did you do this? How can I do that? That was the main part. I think people have the idea of like what dancing is from what they've been told, and they change their mind once they see what you really is. If you would judge like hockey from a garage league like game, you will never fall in love with it. But when you watch the top hockey player do it, then you say, okay, that the intensity, it's more real. So I think that's when you need to reach out. The dancing has been so much on TV in the last like 10, 15 years. It changed a lot of visions. The people watch Dancing with the Stars, the So You Think You Can Dance show, because they relate to it. The grandparents relate because it's their era. The wives, they like it because it's their dancing. They like dancing. They want to see more of it. The husband likes the costumes, and the kids, they just like the movement. They have theme nights. They have Disney night. They have all that. They you can absorb a whole family by 1 hour of a television. So that's changing. And they took such a nice dancers on TV that are like they represent everybody. So dance has changed a lot. It's a lot more inclusive than it used to be, and there's something for everybody. There's still a lot of young kids that get knocked out of dancing just because they don't believe in themselves. However, it's the same in the music industry. It's the same as everywhere where people have to use their talents to stand out. Uh, it's some for some people it's more natural. For others, they have to fight it. However, I believe that the people that have to fight for it are better teachers, because they had to learn do the mistakes, do the struggle, and work not harder, but put the time into it, and break things down a little bit more. For me, I was definitely one of the less talented, work harder. The shape, I was more kind of the bigger guy on the dance floor all the time. I think that was another place to where I was not comfortable with. I was the fat dancer. I was the big one. Until somebody said to me, Martin, it's hard to dance beside you. It's like, why would that be? He says, you take so much room. He said that in a good way because he says you take a lot of space, and competition, it's about square footage. It's how much room you're going to fill. It's how much the projection you're going to give, and that was a breaker for me. I started to be bigger even on the floor and use that as an advantage. So I never wanted to to fit in. I always had my own style. I was a lot more about volume than about lines, for sure. The fact that a lot of people like get discouraged about the weight, they get told like, "Oh, you're too big to do that." You it discourages, it puts a lot of people aside. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of people that want to dance. Some people that are fitting the perfect picture of it, and there's the people that don't. You have to, if you dance for the right reason and you have the heart to it, it will always win over only the good look about it. I would say focus on why you're dancing, why you want to push yourself. It takes a lot of disciplines to be a dancer, and you see a lot of dancers later that they stop dancing, they quit, they get bigger, they get like they have less exercise, they're tired of discipline, and at some point after that they come back into it. Um, it's dancing is for everybody, and yeah, there's a niche for everybody, for the social dancing, for the competitor, and even for the world championship. We have world championship for like 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and 70 years old. So uh, depending, they call that the X factor. Why do you dance? Some people dance to make friends. Some people dance to for the physical part. Some people dance because they like dancing, they like the music. Some people relate to it because they've seen it on TV. So many people is that I've seen it on TV, I fell in love with it, I want to do it. Where do I sign up? So it's the exposure. The more you're gonna have people doing it. Some people like some skinny, some tall, some small one, some fat ones. Uh, there's a place for everybody. One of the best dancers, like they're short. Some of them are like a little bigger. It will be a mental game about it. They say 90% of it is mental, and the next 10% is mental. Definitely. Social media has influenced the dancing in a good way and a bad way. The mainly it's the battle between good and evil. You're gonna have the bad stuff, the people that will laugh, the people that will make it like body shaming, all of this for the young kids. It's to be careful. However, the platform is giving exposure. It touches a lot of people. They do it from their own bedroom. They hide behind the door. They film themselves. It gives them a chance to film it once, two times, three times. They repeat it, and at some point, then they decide, okay, I like it. I'm going to show it to the world. Um, I like that about it. And it becomes, there's like the TikTok, there's the YouTube. You see a lot more, the Facebook, the dancing. It's not only on TV. That I like about it. For the younger ones, I have a daughter that's 13 years old. She likes the social media. She likes watching it, and she like dancing on it. We try not to have her like go like exposing too many things about it, but it's a reality. It's going to stay. It's going to be here for the long run. And for us, our job is to educate people and bring as much good into like those social media by bringing diversity, not only quality. We don't want to please only the 1% of the dancer that make it. We want to do influence the everybody, the school people. The enemy of dancing is not the next teacher or the next school or the next competition or the next dance event. The enemy of dancing is soccer, it's hockey, it's baseball, it's to bring people, it's bingo. It's we want people to be dancing. That's what we do. I've done 4 world championships. I went to Blackpool, which is a massive dance competition for us. It's the biggest dance competition in the world. And as a youth, I got like 27th in the world. That's one of the good results that we had. Um, I think it comes by chunks of 10 years. At the beginning, you dance. And after that, you compete. After that, you retire, you judge. And later on, you organize dance competition. And now I'm in the stage of my career where I want to help form judges and pass an examiner for the judges, and work as a chairman, which is like when the host of a competition hire me to help them with the competition and say like, okay, this is how it's going to roll, who's on the board, who's on the panel, who's judging, who's on turn, what competition is on the floor, all these things. I think that's it is another like big achievement. It takes like a lot of examinations to do the exams. You have to like, I got 7 exams to be where we are now. And it takes time and they're hard. It's not easy. So every time you go, and that's what's fun about dancing, because there's always a goal. There's always a next step. Some people will do it just to do an activity on the Saturday afternoon. Other people will do it for shows. Other people will do it like for the self achievement. For me, it was competition, and it was like definitely like staying in that business of competition. Born and raised for to compete. One of my teachers said, Martin, you take one of those sheets, the little squares into it, and every time you compete or perform something good to a higher level, just draw it as black. And by the time you're going to do them all, at the end, when you get to the bottom of the sheet, you will be a champion. There's no way around that. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes consistency. You take it, if it takes 100 hours to be able to become to a certain level, you can do 100 hours in 10 years. You can do it like in 1 year. You can do it in 3 months. It's the time that you're going to put in that will shape your destiny as a dancer. Well, one of my favorite dance was the first one was the merengue, the one I danced, and then it's the easy one. It's left, right, left, right, left, right. I think everybody should be knowing that dance is just so awesome. Everywhere you go, you'll hear that music. You can dance it. The competition dances are for us the cha-cha, the samba, the rumba, the paso doble, and the jive. And at one point, there was Strictly Ballroom, a movie that came out, and it was around the paso doble. Um, it really hit me. I find it was something that I could relate to. A man's dance, no hip action, just like strong. And there was a competition just for that movie, just for that one dance, a show dance competition. And there was some people that were finalists in our country that did it, and we won it. So it become come my it became my dance that I was identified to. Oh, Martin is Paso Doble. It's like that one hit singer guy that has like keeps singing that song. He likes it, and people recognize it. Me was my Paso Doble, for sure. The Latin a lot more than my standard. The standard was not so natural for me, I would say. Blackpool is an interesting experience. It's the biggest dance competition for us in the world. It's even bigger than the World Championship, because at the World Championship, you're limited to send your 2 best dancers per country. However, a certain country like the States, like Russia, have a lot more good dancers to offer that are not necessarily qualified. So everybody meets at Blackpool and dance over there. At some point, if you go there for the very first time, I say go there with an open mind to learn, not to win. So if you go there, you go to watch, to get inspired, to compete. Do you want to do your best shot ever? So you practice hard, the leading, falling in love with the music. Something is special about the Blackpool music is the fact that it's a live band, and it's different. It's not the lyrical stuff that you hear like on the music into the radio or some Canadian or US competition. Over there, it's the Empress Ballroom Orchestra that plays for you, and it's the pure magic sound. The first time you go, you hate the music leading to it. It's you feel it flat. But when you come back from it, you have goosebumps because you remember moments where you stand in the ballroom when that song play, and you come back like ready to work harder. Some people, it's a hit and miss. It's a lottery because you have like 500 couples competing against you, sometimes 25 on the floor at the same time. If they see you, they'll mark you. They have probably like 17 judges in line. You'll need a majority to pass. It's not easy. However, if you dare to try to set the bar for your year and be at your best, the next year you go back, you compete against that, and you want to get better. You have better ideas for how you present yourself, costumes, training, musicality. Then you're inspired. Then you're going to do much better. A lot of people go there expecting to win and expecting to do better, or to go against like somebody that you beat all the time, and then that person beats you. It's the state of mind, how you are ready to be exposed and vulnerable. Sometimes it's just a bad spot on the floor where you were, nobody could see you because everybody was pushing you in the corner. So go there with an open mind. Try to see the big picture, to get inspired and see like, wow, this couple is good. Find the good things about your competitor, respect them. That's how you'll be able to learn about them and see how you can beat them by working harder. It's always that. I've judged a lot of competitors, and sometimes what strikes you beside the good dancing is the passion that people put in. They it just some people, they're gonna dance, they're gonna make it look so easy, and you're gonna wonder, what is it? It's the simplicity that they bring in. They don't try to. There's that cliche. Don't try to impress, dance to express. And I remember a girl judging a girl at La Classique. Her name was Andra. She was 14 years old, I believe. And you could tell that that girl had a drive. She had a smile. She had the eyes. She was like really, really, really into what she was doing at every level, paying attention to her feet, her lines, but never losing that smile. That's what you were drawn into it. And the girl is now like professional Latin finalist, top of the world, line with the same smile. That's what the simplicity about it. Some people are there to just like show off. Show off will make a time, or sometimes you need that part to get to the next level. There's no book that says you do one first, two next, three next. Sometimes people, you need 10 things, and they're going to arrive with one, two, three, okay, missing four, missing five, six half done, seven, but they're going to jump into like great costume, great makeup, and hairstyling, right? So it's you need the whole package, and priority sometimes makes simplicity easier. In competition, judges are going to be looking at a lot of different things. They're not there to give their opinion or judge their own opinion. They're there to judge quality and how it's done. And if your foot is wobbly and the other person is not wobbly, is solid, you lose a point. You will start with 100 points. If you show up there with the pants too short, or your feet crooked, or a little bit more like this with your posture, you lose a couple points about it, because we're about reaching, we're about standing, about um, throwing a performance and quality at the same time. So judges will look into the feet position, the alignments of where you go, and your understanding of the dance and how you present it. And if you can reach out to some people and like get the attention, then it's starting to look a lot better. Speed is a big effect as well. Skills like spins, like how many spins you're going to pack like in two beats. It's very important. However, the quality needs to be there. You can do one spin and be sharp, you will be the person that did 20 spins and fall off the last one. Couldn't stop it. So it's a taste. Sometimes you have 7 judges, 9 judges, 11 judges in a panel. You'll have 11 different opinions, and it's important that everybody can be judging what they feel is right, what they saw as to according to their own standards, what is first, and not trying to judge who should be winning. Like, so you could be first in the first dance, third in the second dance, fourth in the fourth dance, and like win the last dance. Every dance is a new battle. You can win a dance sometimes by even in between the dancing, how you stand, how you present your partner. If you start pulling, people don't like that. They want to see, like, at the high level, they're looking for somebody to represent your country. You don't want somebody to go to a competition in Japan, for example, and have like jeans in the ballroom, like the way they talk to people and the way they get on the floor and they don't respect and they push and pull each other. You want somebody that's going to represent the country and have something to a higher standard, and you bring your dancing to a higher level by your standards. The story of the Paso Doble, it's very mysterious. It's a long one and a lot of confusion into it because it's Spanish, it's English, it's French, and here's what the backstory is into it. It goes back like years and years and years ago. The Paso Doble was a type of music before it became a type of dance, and it was based on the marching uh, military uh, from the infantry moving to the next town, to the next battle, and they needed a rhythm. So it was going 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and 60. They needed to do 120 steps in 1 minute to move everybody the same way. So it became like a 60 bars per minute, left, right, 1 2 1 2, and that rhythm and that drum roll into at some point mixed with the Romanian and the Spanish folk dance that mixed to that rhythm. And that's why the Paso Doble is an army style where there's a lot of like stiffness into the body. A lot of the marching is very strong, and the gypsies and the flamenco influence from that. And later on, in Spain, there was a big phenomena about those warriors that was going into arenas and fighting toros, bulls, and they were called matadors, and it was like really, really, really intense, really in. Everybody was loving it. There was bands playing music at the same time, and the mariachi band plays that type of music, the Paso Doble, to give honor the military as well and give courage to the matador. So when the matador was going to come in, he would have that music playing, really boosting his ego, making him proud, getting his arrogance a little bit. And everybody is sitting up, so he's looking up. Nobody's sitting first row on the ground in the bullfight. No, nobody's there. So everybody's like cheering from the top, and that's how the music came into the corridas. Now, that was in the 1800s. In 1910, there was a ballet dance company in France that heard about the concept, the corridas and the matadors and the cape, and they decided to build a production to dance where the man will represent the matador and the cape will be represented by the lady or the shadow of the matador, and they will represent the bullfight fighting together. What a great concept for a ballet production. And it became very popular, and it was more exposed into theaters, comedians in the street, and at some point it transferred into the nightclubs on the dance floor, and people were dancing that as popular as salsa is today. So in the 1920s, it spread into that. Then a guy named Pierre Lavelle, Monsieur Pierre, we're going to call him, was there, learned the dance, and his background was someone that traveled the world to learn different type of dance. He traveled to Argentina, learned the Argentine tango. He went to Brazil to learn the samba. He went to Cuba to learn the rumba. He went back to England and formed the Latin American style of dancing through the Imperial Society of Dance Teacher. So it became really popular. He built a syllabus into it with like Spanish names, the banderillas, the fregolina, the French names, the huit, the appel, the écart, the separation, and the English name, the chasse cape, the twist turns, that mix of all that together. And up to this day, the we're still using that in competition. The first competition was in 1943 with the Paso Doble, and it was danced for the first time at the World Championship in 1963. And up to this day, it's still the work of Monsieur Pierre that we're having in all the dance competition. The syllabus, the cha-cha, it was him, the rumba, the samba, the Paso Doble. Well, the difference between all the dances, the Latin dances that we did, was the character of the dance. So I like to place them in order where the cha-cha is really friendly. You meet somebody, you playful, you tease, you flirt. There's a lot of that happening. The little staccato motion, the girl moves the dress, and then it goes to samba. The samba is the second dancing competition, and that's the one where you travel more with the person that you just like met, and have like a lot more closer movement together. Not as close as the rumba. The rumba is the third dance that we do. It's a dance of love. It's a passionate dance where everything is slow motion. You dance it in slow. You have lines. You have a little bit more body contacts with it. I like to say that it's kind of a relationship status, right? You meet someone, you fall in love, you travel, you like really get serious, and at some point you get the paso doble, where the divorce happened, where the fight's happening, the relationship, and there's like it gets complicated, and then it gets more intense about it, and then you make up, and then you make peace, and then the jive is there at the end just to like start it all over again. But the paso doble was always the one that stick to me because it's not just a dance; it comes with a song. The great song called España Cani, Spanish Gypsy Dance in English, and that's the one that's been built for that song. It's a different way of musicality. There's highlights into it representing the different stages of the corrida, of the bullfight action. For me, the having a story into it, and you know what song you have. It's always the same song. You go to somewhere, it's a different version, but you know it's phrased. You don't miss the beginning because you're going to have trouble at the end. The cha-cha, it's always a different song. Jive, samba, tango, waltz. It's not choreographed to what you do unless you do a show dance competition. However, in competition like where 5 dances in a row, you don't pick your dance. You don't pick your song. Sorry, but you always have the same dance. But Paso Doble, you know what to expect. You come, you do your thing. It's easier to build that character. Sometimes you get influenced by a cha-cha that's going to be a good song, or I don't like that song, or I've danced to that song, or that's one in new. I don't know the hits. Not Paso Doble. Paso Doble is pure. And the Paso Doble as well, because it's the same song all the time, you know it's only got a choreograph. You're going to build your choreography onto that song. So if like there's 4/8 and the 4, you know that you're going to build as a crash at some point in the music. The crescendos are always at the same spot. You build your choreography to be sharp at the right time. Well, I hope I have the same story as my wife about that. From what I remember, I came here in 1996 or 7 for a figure skating convention. There were tryouts for figure skating. I came with my partner to demo um, the different type of dance with my coach, and making like that year was cha-cha and samba was the dances that they had to learn. So they fly us into that demonstration, and we train at her studio. And that's where I met her. They were very nice. She was dancing with somebody else at the time. We met. They came to the workshop, um, and they just kept following. Maybe I would say 6 months later, they came to Montreal for a dance competition, and she needed help with a costume change that was happening at the competition, and I was just more than happy to help her do the quick change, having this and this and that. We had some drinks at the competition after, and just the interest was there. A little bit later, I lost my partner. I stopped dancing with my partner Stephanie. At the time, I was amateur and I wanted to turn professional, and she just split from her partner, and she gave me a call. She says, "Martin, come and try out with me. Your coach is coming, Jeanette." And we had the same coach, and just decided to come back here, try out with her. I was here for 5 days, and I knew it was going to be the right place to come. I moved back here for 1 year, 22 years ago. At the time when I met Diana, you want to meet the best dance partner. You don't think down the line of like saying, okay, I must find a wife first and then a dance partner. It's not that at all. You need to find your partner, somebody that's compatible and somebody has different strength than you, so that you can be more complete when you get on the dance floor. I remember that was her that was here, and that was also like a partner that could have been in New York that was there. Um, I just remember entering the place. I opened the door at the studio. I walked around the dance floor. I saw her. She was teaching. She saw me from the corner of her eyes. The smirk in the eyes that she gave me was like something that we connected into it. The dancing felt awesome. She was spinning. She was the fastest spinner I ever like danced with, and she could stop on a dime. That was very impressive. You want to have a dance with somebody that inspires you if you're ready to move like 4,000 kilometers away from where you live. So that's for me was like the moment. Plus, she was very pretty, very pleasant to look at. Um, but her smile, I think her smile and her dancing, like definitely make me comfortable. I moved here. She was already owning a dance studio. She was already like having a lot of like people dancing around her. She had a great team. I started here. I put my suitcase down and I started teaching right away. So uh, the package was complete for me. I had find my person that was able to complete me, give me the space that I needed, because I take a lot of space when I talk, when I walk, when I be with someone. Um, but I think that's just the listening that she's been doing with me, and the person that she allowed me to become, like was enough for me to spend my life with her. So competing against my friends was always a motivation. I met Eric Ketty when I was 9 years old. We grew up together. At some point, we part ways, and then I moved here, and I gave him a call for him to join me back here, and he had a partner. But our history go further down. We had time where he stole my partner. I remember that. I thought I was still mad at him for that time. He was dance. I was dancing. It was super successful. It was finally a partner I could connect to, and then vanish to the other guy. So that was not too pleasant. It opened the door for an opportunity for me to change a partner and change school at the same time, and meet that great Jean-Marc Genereux teacher, which changed my vision about competing. When you want to compete, you want to do your best performance. You compete against your friends on the dance floor, and that's something special. I think what you try to do is not to get in their way. However, it's competition. You want to beat everybody. It's not who he is or what he represents. You want to win. You don't want to win because you cheap shot. You block him. You want to win because you had the best performance. And I'm sure he felt the same about him. Like if I'm in his way, he's gonna go around me and he's gonna try to steal my spotlight. But back outside, we travel together. When you drive 12 hours to do a competition as far as Ohio Starball, you make peace, or you make like good times. But you know, that's the beauty about dancing. You meet a lot of good friends. You meet a lot of good people, and then you you weed out the people that are not good for you, or the people that are just there to get advantage of you.